Do more by doing less. With me, Charles Alexander, for small business owners, startups, and busy folks.
Looks like you've been missing a lot of work lately.
I wouldn't say I've been missing it, Bob.
What do you mean funny? Funny how? How am I funny?
Clark, it's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
I had a new client, came to see me recently, was a full-time fitness instructor, almost a bodybuilding type guy. And now he wanted to open his big brand new location. Get out of the house, get out of the garages, out of the driveway, and into his own space. And this guy is fired up. He's excited. Let's call him Jeff. Jeff is not his name. Jeff had all of the fire in the world, or still does. And he was telling me, Charles, oh man, it's just so exciting. I've got a client list. I got people that want to be here. And it's all about balance. And he goes into this 15-minute diatribe about it's not just exercise, but it's fitness training, and it's about lifting weights a little bit, getting that strength training, and building your core, and eating the right foods, and the combination of the foods and your macros. I didn't really understand macros. I understood after he was telling me. And it's about community and doing it on your own and bringing people together. And whoo, so man, this is great. You've had a full-time job. You're launching this thing out on your own. Tell me more about, do you have some goals? Oh yeah. Hey, my goal is just to make this community the healthiest. Yeah. But do you have some other goals? I just want to be there for people. I want to see people reach their goals. Yeah. What's your goal? We went back and forth like this, just like some terrible Abbott and Costello routine that was not funny for a while, until I finally frustrated him, which scares me a little. The big guy. And then I had to kind of take a step back and think, oh, I'm not helping him very much. And I said, hey, Jeff, what is a tangible written goal that has a number assigned to it? Well, this really isn't about all that. So, okay, let me use the analogy with you. If you bring somebody in who's in decent shape, let's say it's me, but then I have a fitness goal. I want to weigh a certain amount, or I want my body fat percentage to be this. Or I want to be able to squat or deadlift this number. Oh, I see now. And his eyes kind of lit up, and he understood the irony of it too, that he hadn't wanted to commit to a goal. So we sat down together. We looked at what would be realistic, what would get him excited, what would not be over the top to where you couldn't reach it. And we came up with some numbers, how many clients he would need, what dollar amounts he would need to charge, group coaching, one-on-one coaching, until we put all the numbers together and they made sense for his first annual goal, X number of dollars. I won't tell how many it is. This is where a lot of us miss the boat, and there's every kind of book, podcast, everything under the sun about goals, about SMART goals, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time-driven. Those are all good things. When I started doing this business coaching in 2007, one of the very first things I would ask people is, what is your goal? And the conversation really has never changed throughout the course of 16 years. I have people that start to tell me a lot of things they want to happen, but they don't have a written goal. And there's all types of statistics out there. Who knows how we come up with them or if they're true, but 2% of people have written goals. I don't know. I will tell you, when I'm in a room full of people and I ask them to raise their hands, how many have written goals, maybe it's 5-10%. It's not enough. People who have these visible, written, tangible goals are way more likely to achieve them than not. Going back to this fitness example, a couple of years ago, I decided I was getting out of shape a little bit. I'm going to get back into the gym full time, and I want to weigh this amount. And by this amount, it was, just to be blunt, 170. I don't know why I picked that number. It was like a high school number. I want to weigh 170, and I want to be able to increase my bench pressing a little bit. Great. Well, I never really, in the first few weeks, did anything with that. I just kept going and doing the same things I'd always done. Hit the elliptical a little bit, play around with the dumbbells, and then go home. And I was getting frustrated because I wasn't getting close to it at all. I finally decided, all right, well, I need to write this number down, and I need to write it down regularly, and I need to post it somewhere where I can see it. Well, that was helpful, and I started inching toward my goal a little bit. And then I thought, man, I really need to have like a workout routine. I'm just going into the gym doing whatever I want to do when I feel like doing it. I went and nothing special. I copied and pasted like the first one I came across for strength training, and then exercise, aerobic training. I added in specific amount of, let's say, squat, bench, deadlift, curls, all the pull-ups, all of these things. I do them on this date and do them this much. And then I started to try to track those a little bit. And I shared those a little bit, showed them to my wife, who's semi impressed. And I started keeping up with it on a spreadsheet. How close am I getting? How close am I getting? How close am I getting? Until I finally set a date. That's when it's going to be. And then I had to change what I was eating. And luckily, you got a Fitbit, you got the MyFitnessPal on your app. Again, now I really know about macros until I set a date, changed everything until I got to that point. Now I'm off that point again because I've already put the 5 pounds back on. But hey, after I made all of those commitments, I got closer to reaching that goal. To be really specific, I have heard all types of studies on goal setting there is. There's always the rumor about the Yale or the Harvard class, depends on who's telling the story, from 1973 or 1953, about how 2% of them wrote their goals down. And when they came back to their class reunion 20 years later, they were 10% more successful than everybody else. I couldn't find that, but I tell you what I did find. In California, Dominican University, yes, that's a real place, recruited 267 participants as 1990 something here. They were a wide variety of folks, business organizations, networking groups here, overseas. Ages range from 23 to 72. They put them in 5 groups. I don't know how you divide 72 by 5, but they did. Uneven number of groups. Group 1, they were asked to simply think about their goals, which is powerful. Actions follow thoughts in a lot of cases. Group number 2, they wrote I got a pen so that could help you here. They wrote their goals out. And group 3 was asked to write commitments for each goal. Group 4 had to write the goals, commitments, and then share these with a friend, maybe their husband or wife or an accountability partner, as we hear. And then number 5, they went all the way. They had to send a weekly progress report to that friend. Cool. So they gave them a period of time, let them look at their goals. And then when they regrouped, this is how it worked out. Group 1 asked just to think about their goals. 43% of them accomplished it, which is pretty big. It's almost half. All they had to do was just think about a goal. And these were specific goals, by the way. Group 2, there was a big jump. They were asked to write their goals down. Remember the potentially fictitious 2% of us that do. 51% of them reach their goals. That's a big 8% jump right there just by writing them down. And for me, I write my goals down every morning in the journal, or at least 3 or 4 out of the mornings a week when I do get to it. Now, here's one of the bigger jumps. Group 3 was asked to write commitments. And by commitments, plan it out, schedule it, create steps for it. They had a 10% jump. 61% of them accomplished their goals. Then group 4 was the smallest jump, was when they were asked to share it with a friend. That was from 61% to 64%. And I've got mixed feelings about sharing your goals. I think there's a lot of power to sharing them because then you feel compelled that you have to reach them. I'm in a coaching group where every Monday we write out our intentions of the week in the group. Then I always feel compelled to show up Friday at actually having done them. The only time I don't like that is if you have pretty big goals, audacious goals, and then you have the wrong circle of people around you because you haven't leveled up to who you're hanging out with yet. A lot of times those folks can try to find ways to continue to bring you down or tell you that those goals aren't worthy or that you'll never hit them. That's when I don't like it. And finally, back group 5 that did all of the above, but then they had to create a progress report. They had the biggest jump. They went from 64% to 76%. That means 3 out of 4 people plus hit their goals by writing them down, creating an action plan, and sharing them with somebody and doing a progress report. So what does that mean for us? What is the method that we need to go after whatever it is your goal is? If you're an existing business, do you have a new revenue number you want to hit? Do you have a profit number? Do you have a number of customers you want to serve? What a cheesy word. The number of customers you want to help. Or are you working a job, you want to create your own destiny. You want to start your own business. Or maybe you're like me. I'm about to publish a book. We'll use that as an example. First thing, making this really easy, you want to do the kind of the who, what, when, where, and why of this thing. So let's start with the what. What is the goal? What specifically are you trying to do? Is it the SMART goal? Can you write it down? Is it realistic? Is it a number attached to it? And for me, it was to write a book, and I even decided I wanted it to be roughly 45,000 to 50,000 words. That's not a big book, but that was my goal. Secondly, who else can help you reach that goal? Is there somebody on the team that's responsible for helping you reach your goals for revenue? Is it a sales team? Is it somebody that is doing performing the actual service that you sell or the product that you have? Is it an accountant? Is it a business coach? Who else needs to help you out? And in my case, I needed somebody to review my book. I needed somebody to edit my book. I need a virtual assistant that can kind of go do some of the knickknack research that I assigned out. In my case, I got my business coach, John Michael Morgan, to bless his heart, review every single word I wrote. And then I had to hire an editor. And then I've hired a friend of mine as a graphic designer to design the book cover. I can't do all of this stuff. I had to find somebody else that had been there, done that, was smarter than me at getting it done. When did you want to hit your goal? And that's what so many people do. They'll write it down and say, I want to make $1 million. And then that's it. When? How? So the win is very important. For me, when I started this, I didn't have a win, and it languished forever. I've been working on this thing way too long. So finally, when I decided to put pen to paper and create a win, summer of 2023, I realized in the fall of 2022, I had some makeup work to do. So I had to take some time off, block out time in my house, and create the steps to really get this thing done. I would use the Pomodoro technique where I would put myself in a room, time myself, say, all right, I got to write chapter 43 right now, and I've got to finish it by the end of this period. And that's what you have to do. You got to create a win and put it on the calendar and then work backwards into it. Where will it be measured? That's number 4. Where will you measure your goal? If it's a dollar amount, great. The profit and loss statement. If it's a customer count, there's a customer service data or customer, relationship management database. Is it some content that you want to create? How are you measured? How many pieces of content will you do? Where, are you doing by engagement? Are you doing by the number of people that call you? For me, where will mine be measured? It's pretty simple. Is where when it hits Amazon, then I'll be able to see how many copies are we selling. How are you going to reach that goal? This is the most important. I know why, as we're about to get to the why. Why is so important, but how are you going to do it, folks? I keep saying this, if it's a revenue goal, you can't just keep doing the same thing we've always done and expect to get new results. That's what folks call the definition of insanity. What steps are you going to take that's new and different to you now? Go back. Who else can help you with it? When can you do that? Is it new channel of marketing that you need to approach? Is it new networking event you need to attend? Is it some different people you need to get on board? For me, the how, I broke it down. All the chapters had the outline, had the date. The how, I created kind of a template that I was using, and I started plugging it in. That was how I was getting it done. And lastly is your why. Why gets a lot of run. People love a good why. Most of our whys is about trying to help other people and find freedom for ourselves. Great. What's your why behind a goal? And I do run into this with people that will set a monetary goal, but they don't know why they wanted that. Why is that number important? Well, if I get $1 million, 10 million, $100 million, then I'll be happy. Probably not just the right case. But if I reach this dollar amount goal, it will allow me to take more time off. It will allow me to hire somebody else. It will allow me to help more people that I want to help. And in my case, why am I writing a book? Because it's something I believe in. I think people, when they get ready to start a business, they would be well off to continue to keep their existing job. I've been coaching for over 16 years, and it's one of the bigger issues I've seen people have, where they hit borderline midlife crisis mode and they decide to quit. Well, when they quit, they should have been better off to started it out on the side and work their way up. I was passionate about it, still am. You can tell by the way I'm talking now. So you got to go back to your what, who, when, where, how, and why for your goal. As for my buddy Jeff, he kind of hit all those, wrote them all down, and created his goal worksheet. He even used one of his fitness tracking tools as his business tracking tool. It worked out pretty well. I may steal it from him and rebrandish it for myself, but he is doing well. Wait, don't run off just yet. Do me a big favor, hit the little plus sign to subscribe, scroll down wherever you are, and leave a very honest 5-star, review and tell other people why they should be listening. And if you don't, an angel may in fact lose its wings. True story. Have a great day.